Hello, my friends. Today, the occupiers continue to advance toward their goal, and unfortunately, they are partially succeeding. That's why assistance from the US is urgently needed today. And just yesterday, we heard a statement that Congress will consider aid for Ukraine and Israel separately. And today, on American television, those against supporting Ukraine have already started speaking out.
His job is safe as House Speaker, and this week he expects to move forward with multiple aid packages, one for Israel, one for Ukraine. Take a listen.
We have terrorists and tyrants and terrible leaders around the world like Putin and Xi and in Iran, and they're watching to see if America will stand up for its allies and in our own interest around the globe, and we will. We will vote on the Israel aid, on the aid to Ukraine, on the aid to the Indo-Pacific, and then another measure that has our national security priorities included. And every member ultimately will be able to vote their own conscience on all of these matters, and everyone will have an opportunity to weigh in and bring the amendments that they think are suitable.
All right, Congressman, where are you if those two bills hit the floor this week, Ukraine and Israel?
Of course, I'm not going to vote for any more funding for Ukraine, $116 billion. We could have built the wall, I believe, 6 times. We could have fixed the Flint, Michigan lead situation a dozen times, probably. I think we could give every homeless veteran $1 million in this country, the money we spent on Ukraine. And here it is, tax day, and this is where we're at. They've got enough. It's Europe's war. Let them fight it. Of course, we support Israel. The Iron Dome prevented a world war because it actually stopped the missiles and the drones before they hit Israel, and of course with our help of knocking those down. So I support Israel, but the rest, Ukraine, they need to go somewhere else. We need to focus our priorities on our own problems.
As seen, Republicans once again are trying in any way possible to halt support for Ukraine, urging everyone not to vote for adopting this decision. So the situation is very complicated. Meanwhile, after Scholz called on China not to assist Russia in the war against Ukraine, Xi Jinping in turn urged Europe not to help Ukraine and to come to the negotiation table.
Scholz, flanked by a business delegation made up of top German executives eager to keep their lucrative business opportunities in China, focused his opening remarks not on trade but Ukraine. He called on Xi to contribute more to a just peace in Ukraine. The Russian war of aggression against Ukraine and Russia's rearmament have had a very significant negative impact on security in Europe. They directly affect our core interests, he told Xi. She has not offered any fresh commitments on Ukraine, instead supporting all efforts conducive to peaceful resolution of the Ukraine crisis, as well as the timely convening of an international peace conference recognized by both Russia and Ukraine. He called for the equal participation of all sides, and where all peace plans could be discussed, a strong hint that Europe should invite Russia to the table. He asked the West not to pour fuel on the fire, China's euphemism for sending weapons to Ukraine.
So what else could we expect? Okay, now let's turn to the front line, starting with the Bakhmut direction. Here, the occupiers are quickly attempting to advance towards Chasiv Yar. And the spokesperson for the military group in Khortytsa said,
"The capture of Chasiv Yar will greatly facilitate the advance of the Russian army in the Donetsk region." As Censor.net reports, Nazar Voloshin, the spokesman of the Khortytsia OSU, told about this in an interview with Politico. So he explained that Chasiv Yar is a commanding height in the region, the control of which will make it easier for the occupiers to advance in the direction of Kostiantynivka and Sloviansk and Kramatorsk. These cities are the last stronghold of the Donetsk region, which is under the control of Ukraine, Voloshin emphasized.
As evident, immediately 4 major cities could come under attack, and at the very least they will be heavily shelled. Therefore, today the Russians are deploying a huge number of reserves to capture Chasiv Yar. And despite the fact that the Ukrainian armed forces are not allowing them to firmly establish themselves in the micro-district, they still manage to break through daily and attempt offensive action there. So today, attacks are ongoing on Chasiv Yar. Similarly, battles are ongoing for Ivanivka and Klishchiivka, and within the day 12 attacks have already been recorded, and the fighting continues. Additionally, the occupiers don't cease to use aviation to strike Chasiv Yar and other populated areas. So to improve their tactical position, the Ukrainian armed forces describe the situation from the ground as follows.
Fierce fighting continues on the outskirts of Chasiv Yar, our comrades are holding their positions, everything is flying around our positions around the clock, there are dead comrades. Ticks, the positions are under control, in the morning they tried to enter the positions, lost 2 people and left.
Unfortunately, in the Avdiivka direction, the advancement of the Russians is confirmed. And now, officially, the General Staff declares that the occupiers are advancing in the area of Ocheretine. And, as evident, they are gradually moving forward. Initially, the border was in Lastachkine and Severne, then Tonenki and Orlivka. And now they have reached Semenivka, and Ocheretine is added to this list. Perhaps there are defensive lines somewhere, and we hope that they will stop the Russians, but for now, they continue to advance. Besides Ocheretine, today there are battles ongoing in the areas of Novokalinovo, Berdachi, Semenivka and Netailove. Additionally, here too, the Russians are actively conducting airstrikes on the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces to accelerate their advance. In the direction of Marinka, the occupiers are storming Krasnohorivka and Novomykhailivka. So within the day, 14 attacks have been recorded and the fighting continues. However, despite these, there have been no successes for the Russians, and the front line remains unchanged over the day. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers continue their attacks on Stromoyorsky, but all efforts proved unsuccessful and the front line remains unchanged. Meanwhile, Shalom persists on other pre-frontline settlements. In the Zaporizhia direction, so today the occupiers once again stormed Robotyne. However, it's a bit of an overstatement. They conducted one attack, suffered further losses, and retreated to their former positions. Thus, the front line remains unchanged, and Shalom of pre-frontline villages continues. Additionally, Rogozin reported that the Ukrainian armed forces have started using FPV kamikaze drones against them.
Today, in our sector of the Zaporizhzhia front, for the first time, the group use of FPV kamikaze APUs at night with night optics was noted. Previously, we only flew copters, and a lot, but now we have this crap. In addition to a good trench electronic warfare system with a frequency analyzer to identify and suppress enemy drones controlled from the ground, to destroy large drones controlled via Starlink, automated turrets with 7.62 and large caliber machine guns with high-quality night optics and a remote fire control panel are required to remove the shooter from the affected area. I repeat, they move in echelons, so even if you shoot down one heavy drone, others may notice you.
In the Kherson direction, the occupiers didn't conduct assaults on the Ukrainian armed forces' foothold on the left bank, and the situation remains unchanged for now. Challenge of the right bank persists, but efforts to dislodge Russian artillery have been unsuccessful. So aviation also periodically strikes populated areas. And now let's turn to the Luhansk directions. So here, the occupiers continue their attacks in the areas of Bilohorivka, Vyimka, and Verkhnyo-Kamiensky. However, they didn't achieve any success over the day, and all 6 attacks ended unsuccessfully. In the Crimea direction, the occupiers have increased their activity again. So today they conducted 6 attacks in the areas of Terny, Torske, Grigorievka, and Serebryanka forestry. So shelling continues in large quantities, but they still have no success along the front line, and the line of conflict remains unchanged. In the Kupiansk and Svatovo directions, so everything remains stable. The occupiers continue shelling, but no offensive actions have been recorded so far. Therefore, we await further developments. Meanwhile, in an interview with PBS, Zelenskyy stated that the West fears Russia's defeat in Ukraine due to the threat of nuclear proliferation and the strengthening of China, which will seize parts of the Russian Federation.
Ці голоси, які йдуть з Заходу, нам страшно, а що буде з Росією, якщо Росія програє? Тобто їм що, не страшно, що ми тут щоденно вмираємо? Зато їм дуже страшно, що буде якась небезпека, якась міграційна криза. А що ж буде? Чи не буде дуже сильний Китай, всі думають, що Китай захопить, якщо буде в Росії паніка і революція, Китай захопить трішки частину Росії тощо. Тобто всі бояться, не дай Боже, що Китай буде сильним. Не дай Боже, що Путіна не буде і буде багато держав. Що станеться з ядерною зброєю, яка на території Росії. Начебто зараз Захід контролює ядерну зброю. І ось про що я кажу вам. Всі такі голоси, всі такі меседжі, все це і є ганьба, про яку я говорю.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.